Okay, so we're live, and this is All for One Regime Diabolique Atlantis Rising. So, everyone has a character. We have, let's see, we have Louis de la Pore. We have Gill. I should have learned to pronounce these when I wrote them. Gill, Desire.
Guillaume, Desire.
That's it. Henri, Edouard, and Andre, and Hugo. Hugo and Andre will be the spare NPCs just hanging around in the background, just in case. So the year is 1736. And we begin on the deck of a galleon heading towards Spain. I'll just get the map of Spain up. Where's the map of Spain? Map of Spain's there. Okay, let's share this. So this is... Okay, so you've come from Marseille, past Ibiza, and you're heading down towards the Straits of Gibraltar, and you're going to end up here, roughly. That's the plan. Now, the reasons for that are, a few nights ago, you were in a chateau looking after the Queen's cousin. And whilst you were there, let me get the right page up. Whilst you were there, you overheard a conversation with one of the orderlies, or one of the staff, who suggested that Lady de Winter was still alive, and this led you to investigate by speaking to the footman who had heard the conversation. He led you to a merchantman who said that he had actually seen Lady de Winter get on a ship heading towards Spain. Over the next couple of days, you headed to the port of Marseille and discovered that she was, in fact, heading towards Spain for nefarious means. You weren't 100% sure why, but it had something to do with the four women that she was going with her, that were going with her. Now, we begin on the deck of the ship, heading towards Spain. The region in Spain you're heading towards is called the Daumont region. So, you're all packed up with all of your equipment. You have muskets, you have your swords. Most of that equipment will be stored in your sleeping quarters. So anything that you want to carry with you whilst you're spending time on deck, then if you just make a mental note of that, but you wouldn't be carrying around your gun the whole time. So if we start with each of you introducing yourselves, and everyone's on mute.
You don't really need to hear me trying to organize my setup here. Je suis Henri D'Iceux. D'Iceux, yeah. Yeah, Henri D'Iceux, and a young, dashing corporal in the Musketeers.
I am Guillaume. All you need to know about me is I use a sword. I protect, I serve, and I have a lot of fun.
As Ian's still on mute, I'm Louis, Louis de la Pore. an immaculately dressed nobleman with a well-waxed moustache.
Maybe I should have waxed before we started.
Interested in the runnings of court and so on, and just always making sure that he's immaculately dressed. I'm guessing we don't have our lackeys with us on this voyage, having had to leave them behind, or
no.
In which case, he's having to slum it without help, which is preposterous, really, for a manifestation.
You expect to pick up some kind of staff as you get closer to the Spanish border.
Okay, and I'm playing Edouard Daval, a veteran musketeer. I was on the lookout for danger in all its guises. That is why I always wear my trusty sword wherever I go, even to the l'abattoir.
Okay. That's everyone, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. One thing the rest of you have noticed about Guillaume is he has a very large scar right across his face, all the way down his jawbone and splitting his mouth.
Now, you've been together as a team for a few weeks. It's your first journey together as a team. You are going into hostile territory. The 30 Years' War is breaking out or raging as it is as we speak. So you are warned to be wary. You are in a French ship. So we begin the adventure on deck of the Sainte Marie, a French galleon filled with merchandise to be taken to Spain. Weather's okay. It's getting late in the evening. You can see a storm coming, but Captain seems to think everything will go according to plan. Now, your route should be simple. Go through the Pillars of Hercules, few hours up the coast, and you're going to be dropped at a village close to where Milady de Winter is supposed to be. However, as you get within sight of Gibraltar, you hear the spotter cry from the crow's nest, and he shouts, "It's the Flying Dutchman." Where's my mouse? He says, "It's the Flying Dutchman," and screams. And you see, look at the right ship up, just in the distance to your right, a ship. I'll get a picture of the ship.
Is it before us or behind us?
It is coming towards you on your left.
I'm racing down to our room, or whatever quarters we have, and grabbing
everyone
my
needs to roll
sword and musket.
Initiative, because you're going to get a chance to do. You have your swords with you. You'll get one action before it hits the ship.
Oh, that quick!
Yeah, it literally just comes out of this, coming at a breakneck speed. So initiative, you roll however many dice, and then just tell me what you get.
I've got 4.
How many
successes?
Evens.
Evens. Yeah, evens.
Ah, I got
None
5.
whatsoever.
5 out of 5.
5.
Oh, crap. Zeros as well. What is going on?
Okay, so Louis and Henri get to act first, and then the ship literally takes the front of your galleon, just takes the front clean off. So one action, everyone's standing on the foredeck of the ship, what is your action before?
Okay, Louis is going to initially start shouting for his lackey Sebastian, and then suddenly realise that he's not there and race for the cabin because that's where his sword and his musket are.
Your swords are on you. It's just the muskets
Okay.
that are packed away because you won't be walking around with giant muskets. Now, so you're actually on the forecastle,
Okay.
and it's going to take. What you see, the number 5.
Yeah.
The ship is going to come across and take the whole of that section off, and the boat will begin to sink very shortly. But it is very quick. This thing just appears.
Where are our rooms? Is that number 2?
Yeah, the number 2s are your rooms. So you're going to get to about the centre.
It's
mast.
still a good move. It's still a good move. I may change my mind before I get to the room, but that's definitely. So I sort of get halfway through shouting for Sebastian and then realise and turn and bolt at high speed for my cabin.
Okay.
Henri is going to look around and see what's on the deck.
Okay.
What's the actual situation? Is there something we can grab? Just to see what's around.
Utter panic.
As well as look at the ship that's coming.
Okay, there's utter panic, but you do see that there are a number of crewmen that are staring at not the front of the Flying Dutchman, but just slightly to where where the forecastle of the Flying Dutchman is.
I follow their gaze.
I'll make a perception roll.
So it's 4 dice.
Yep.
And that is 2.
2. Okay. On the deck of the Flying Dutchman, there are 4 green, glowing humanoid figures wearing what looks like tunics. They look like ghostly musketeers.
Okay.
And then it hits. The entire front of the ship gets smashed off. Everyone make a dexterity? Just double check the dexterity.
Is that W dex? Yeah.
Yeah. If you've got acrobatics.
Not
dex.
athletics then.
No, if you've got athletics, you can add your body. No, you can just roll athletics rather than dex. But if you haven't got athletics,
so you can roll your rating. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I got 3.
3.
3. Anyone that gets 2 or less stumbles to the floor as the whole ship just lurches sideways, and you can feel the whole thing begin to sink. There's a big lurch as a large amount of water gets sucked in the front of the ship.
Is the Flying Dutchman still ahead of us?
The Flying Dutchman just hits you and just keeps going.
Can we run and jump?
It's going too fast. However, the 4 ghostly figures have leapt onto the ship. And these look like 4 ghostly musketeers.
En garde!
And whilst they cannot speak, they do raise their ghostly swords.
I'm raising my very non-ghostly sword.
See, where's he gone? I had ghostly musketeers and everything.
That's impressive.
That's cool.
I will stand next to Guillaume with my sword drawn also.
Yeah, on guard. Also, I'll see.
Can
on
I?
God, see.
Can I?
Okay,
so can I make a perception check to see if I notice this as I'm running, so that I can? I mean, obviously, I can't act this round, but at least I don't actually make it to the cabin and turn round. But
yes, and perception will cover what you can see, what you can hear, and what you can smell, rather than just what you can see.
2. That could have been better.
2. Not quite. You can hear gasps from behind you, but it's a bit.
I'll keep going for the cabin.
Amused. So, initiative.
Oh, so roll initiative again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, we've done. No, so we did. Yes, a new initiative because it's actual combat rather than just hitting.
4.
3.
2.
4. I got 1. Marvelous. So,
good.
4s go first. So, what do you want to do? It's going to take you 1 move to enter combat.
Mm-hmm.
or you can go for the life jackets, the life boats.
There
The
is
crew
actually
are simply
lifeboats. Okay.
yeah, they're rowing boats. There's a couple of rowing boats either side that the crew are frantically attempting to roll down. As the boat begins to sink, you're on the forecastle, what's left of the forecastle, engaging combat with 4 ghostly musketeers.
Okay. To hell with it. I have never fought such figures before. How can I turn this chance down? I'm just going to go in and see if I can attack them.
Okay, make a... So, to make the attack, you roll your weapon skill.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me...
Okay. Fencing,
you get.
I assume, yes?
Yes. So, you're...
That's 5.
No, so your fencing is already added to your rapier skill. So you're using your rapier and your main gauche.
Really.
It's 11 dice.
11 dice. Oh, well,
Yeah.
even better. Let me roll 11 dice instead then.
Yeah. You can take the average, which is 5 plus, and then roll a spare. But rolling loads of dice is great fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's try 11 then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.
6. So, okay, you strike this thing, and it steps back.
Aha!
So,
Did it
Feel
appear
the
to have
point
any-
of my sword.
Did the sword like pass through him, or did it actually?
no, it actually hit him.
Mhm.
So it's not incorporeal.
Ha! They feel pain. These things.
Yes. Or you can hit them. So that's round 1. So who's next?
I'm on 3.
Yep.
And I have 7 dice.
Mhm.
1, 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, you swing your sword at the musketeer, and you feel the whole thing just scrape in front of his tunic, but you don't hurt him.
And I say, mes amis, the ship, we're sinking.
You are
You
sinking?
should probably think about that.
Yes. Ian. Sorry, not Ian. Eduardo. Ed. You're muted. You're muted, Ian.
If it's a TPK through drowning, we're in trouble.
Hello.
Secure a boat for us, my friends. I will hold them back.
I hope we all have swimming ski. Okay, I will strike at the closest one to me. Throwing rapier and six.
6.
See.
Okay, you hit another one, and he stumbles backwards. So these guys... Where's he gone? So he's going to use that. So, first one swings at Gill. And misses. Second one swings at Henri. Misses. Next one swings at Ed. And misses. Oh, useless. The last one swings again at...
Oh, sorry, Karen.
No, they all miss. They're not quite close enough. So, Louis, you've heard the commotion, and there appears to be a fight behind you.
Okay, Louis draws his sword. He turns and takes in the 4 ghostly figures. He hears Gill's call to secure a boat.
Yeah.
So there are sailors pouring into the boats on either side.
There's 2 boats, 2 longboats, one either side, and the crew are just getting in. They're beginning to lower the boats as the ship begins to.
Yeah.
sink.
He is going to jump to that, so jump to whichever he's closest to with his sword out, and whoever is operating the winch to lower the boats, he is going to shout at them to stop and wait for his companions. So I'm thinking intimidation.
Yes.
Yeah. I am going to put a couple of style on that.
Okay. Well, yep. It's quite a simple intimidation because you are. This is a French boat. You are musketeers. You are wearing your full musketeer regalia.
Okay. In which case, yeah, all right. In which case, I won't spend style. But okay. So I wish I'd spent style because that came up. Neither of those dice was a success. Okay. So I rolled 4 and I got no successes whatsoever. So
the guy manning the winch. The
wench.
The wench. I'm busy. Go up there. He turns.
It's not that kind of boat.
No. Puts his hand in his ear. He says, "What? I can't hear you. What?" It's very noisy. So he didn't hear a word you said in the. So whilst you're chatting to the chap, another round of combat. You guys can go first again. Same.
Right.
Can we speak out of turn?
Yes.
I say, let us pull back towards the boat.
You're suggesting that I, Guillaume, retreat in the face of an enemy?
No, I suggest you get off a sinking boat.
Okay. No, screw it. I'm going to keep on fighting. To hell with it. I never retreat in the face of danger. And I get 6.
Well, they didn't hire us
6.
for our brains.
Okay. You swipe your sword, swinging it quite heftily, and you push it through the musketeer, who disappears into a puff of green smoke.
C'est magnifique, no?
3 left.
C'est pas mal.
Yeah.
So,
I have 5, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I have to use an app because I don't have dice with me, I'm afraid.
That's okay.
3.
3. You swing.
Better than
You
last
actually
time.
make contact, but it doesn't do any damage.
Okay.
Eduardo.
Edouard has not lived to be a veteran by facing enemies and whilst on a sinking ship, so he will retreat. Still,
Let's do that.
Taking a defensive stance, but I will be backing away towards the boat.
I'll get a attack of opportunity against you. 4. Your defense is 4, isn't it?
It's 5.
5. It hits you, but you don't take any damage from it. Next one misses. Gill has killed his, and 4. So the last musketeer swings at Henri and catches you. What's your defense?
My defense is 5.
5. It hits you, but you take no damage. The ship is now, this is round 3, is going to sink at the end of this round.
Okay, I'm going to... Am I up next?
Yes. Oh, yeah, you get,
Yeah. I don't want to jump. So it sinks at the end of this round.
Yes.
In which case, I'm going to leap into the boat and push my way towards the guy who's operating the winch, saying, "We are not leaving without them."
Okay, roll 1d6 and add 4 to it, and that is how many crewmen are in the ship in the longboat.
Damn, I've only got ubiquity dice on me.
Okay. Okay, hang on. Let me get. I guess
an even number.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. I've got a d6 here. There you go. So 1d6. I've got 2, so that's 4. So 6 crewmen in the. Oh.
They can hold quite a lot, can't they?
Yes, it's for 10, 15 people in one of the longboats. So it can hold quite a lot. And also they use it for transporting supplies back and forth to the ship. So it's quite large. But so there's 6 people in there. Plus the guy that's on the winch, who hasn't quite figured out that it's in his best interest to simply jump onto the boat. He's still lowering people down.
Oh, he's still on the ship?
Yeah, he hasn't quite figured. He's not the cleverest of chaps. He's helping everyone down, and when it hits the water, he'll realise that he, in fact, could have done that from inside the ship.
Okay, in which I'm still jumping into the longboat, and I'm yelling to the guys in the boat that we are not leaving until my companions are here.
Okay,
and as I'm the one with the sword and the mangosh,
not a problem. So, who have we got? We've got Edouard. Eduardo, you are the next closest to the ship, to the rowing boat.
The boat, run and leap.
Okay, so athletics roll.
Athletics.
You've got athletics. You've got athletics.
Indeed. Six.
So it's quite a simple roll. So it's a 4.
Simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh.
5. So you leap and you stand in the boat in the centre. Aha! Henri.
I'm going to withdraw towards the boat as well and hopefully get to it before the end of the round to get in.
Okay, if you're just going to move, they have their attack of opportunity, so you can simply make a leap straight into the boat.
I'll do that. I have 6 dice.
Okay.
And 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, you go to jump and you find yourself catching the top of the boat. You can't quite make it over the side of the galleon. Gill. 3 musketeers remain. They get if you turn and run, they get 1 attack of opportunity, but then you can run and leap into the boat.
Okay, I'm taking a look around. Do I see any trailing ropes from the mast or anything of that?
Yes.
Of course I do. It's a Musketeers movie.
Yeah. So
okay.
The front mast is damaged, but there are ropes hanging from further on.
Wonderful. I'm going to take a leap, grab a rope, swing around, smack these guys in the face with my boots, and then land on the boat.
Okay, dokie. So for that, you would do I'll let you add athletics and brawl.
Athletics, I can do.
Athletics and brawl. 4, 5, 6, 7. So you've got a base. You can take the average. But it'd be much funnier to roll the dice. So 8.
Hell yes, I'm going to roll dice. So I've got 8 in athletics and 7 in brawl. Which do I roll?
Both of them combined. Because in addition to...
Both combined? 15?
Yes, because you 15. So the athletics is actually grabbing the rope and swinging around. The brawl is punching these guys as you swing.
Could I actually, with 15 dice, I was going to suggest spending some style, but with 15 dice, maybe I won't.
Okay. I'll go with the 15 dice. Damn right. I'm glad I got a big bag of dice here. 15 dice.
So it's a tough one. I'd say you've got to get 4. It's hard, actually. It's 4. So a success of 4 or more, now that I found the difficulty table.
7, mommy.
7. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 above. That is a major success. As you leap past, you punch and make contact with the faces of all three musketeers, who each of them burst into green smoke as you swing and land in the center of the boat, and the boat doesn't move. Just elegance. Take a star point from that.
Yeah. I remain hanging off the side.
Yeah, as you've leapt up, over the boat, you just see Gill swing on a rope, knock the three musketeers out, and then swing past you, smiling, winking, as he lands in the center of the boat. Keep up.
Louis will grab Gill and haul him back into the boat.
Yeah, Henri, the ship is now sinking below the waves. You've got one chance to leap onto the boat before you lose the ship.
Okay. So what do I get rolled?
Athletics. Let's find you where you've gone. You're the
plain athletics. 6.
Yes.
3 successes.
Right.
So it's quite
off of my hand.
It's you can take the average.
Well,
it's not going to be difficult because it's much lower.
I rolled 3 anyway, so I got the average on the roll.
Okay. You simply jump onto the boat as you watch the other chap miss his stepping and go into the water. And the galleon sinks into the sea. And you hear blub, 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 as the chap that was manning the winch is unable to swim and beginning to sink beneath the waves.
I'll dive in.
Can you swim?
Yeah.
Can I do?
Yes.
I'm also impulsive.
Everyone can swim. Okay, make a swim roll to dive in, grab the guy.
2 of us have done that.
Yep.
Okay. It's basic swim rolls. Falling in the water is easy. Swimming, grabbing him and getting back into the boat is a simple. It's going to be a tough swim
2.
roll. 2. Okay, you miss him as you're trying to grab him while swimming. Eduardo.
3.
I'm just going to call you Ed now. You grab the guy and swim back to the boat.
I'll follow them back. Lending moral support.
Get on board, monsieur.
Put everyone on board, and you're now in a boat in the dark.
I reach over. Sorry, I reach over into the water and grab my hat and put it on.
Shaking it as you go. In the distance are the lights of Gibraltar. The Flying Dutchman is nowhere to be seen. The crew are quite scared. And at this point, you can each roll a sanity roll. Now, that's a new mechanic within the last couple of Ubiquity games. And essentially, on your sheet, it says sanity. You need to roll that many dice and roll... they were... What did I say? And tell me what you get.
Got a 4.
4.
Size. Oh, sanity value. 3.
3.
Where's the sanity?
So below on your sheet...
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah.
It's just in the center rather than...
Yeah, it was...
I had the same problem.
Nothing.
Okay.
2 for Ed.
Anyone that got under 4
Uh-oh.
is now a bit shaken.
Under 4?
Under 4. Under 4 successes.
Wow.
What's one of those things?
How the hell did it...
What happened?
Why did they disappear so fast when I kicked them in the face?
What was that boat? I look to the sailors and say, what is that boat?
The Flying Dutchman!
What is the Flying Dutchman? We're not at war with the Dutch?
And they begin to tell you the tale of the Flying Dutchman. At this moment in history, the Flying Dutchman is just rumours and tales. It's not until the 1700s, late 1700s, that it's actually found to be written down. But the Flying Dutchman is an ancient ship that is... the crew died in mysterious circumstances. There's rumours that they sold their soul to the devil, and are now sailing the seven seas, doing his bidding, destroying other ships and causing horror and mayhem wherever they go. They've never heard of the Flying Dutchman in the Mediterranean. So they all look at you as if that means something, and then you can hear one of them under his breath go, "They're cursed." And he looks at you.
I say, enough of that, man. Don't be in. Nobody's cursed here.
But the Flying Dutchman, monsieur.
The Flying Dutchman is a myth.
I sort of look into the distance.
and each of them just... but you saw it with your own eyes, sir.
I saw a pirate ship, nothing more. A Spanish galleon.
One of the elderly crew members, I saw it. It had the Jolly Roger on it.
Did it?
Pirates.
No, nobody else saw Jolly Roger. Just this old guy.
Well, it didn't move like a normal ship. I mean, it was a lot faster than a normal ship, wasn't it?
It just appeared and just flew at breakneck speed straight through your ship, deliberately dropping off these 4 musketeers before sailing on and destroying the merchantman ship.
Well, whatever it was, we need to get to land. I want to avoid the discussion of musketeers and us with the sailors.
Yes. Now, Rodney, you're muted. I don't know whether you're supposed to be.
I'm letting everybody else talk.
Okay. No worries. If you, well, what you need to do now is row to Gibraltar. Gibraltar, at this moment in time, is under Spanish control. However, you're at war with Spain, and each of you are wearing musketeer outfits. Now, you do have a map as to where you need to go. It's as to what you decide to do. Gibraltar has a large port, so it may be possible to get another ship, or it may be possible to get horses to ride on.
Do we have much money on us?
You have travelling money, which you would have carried with you in case any of the crew stole it from your cabins. So you only have what you got on you. So swords, no food, and enough money to last you a couple of weeks. You don't have your muskets. They are sunken in the bottom of the sea. So anything you think you would have normally carried around, like the map of where you're going, etc.
Is the money we've got is Spanish money? We'd have
yes.
Be carrying French money with us to do that.
No, you have the whatever the Spanish peso was then. Livre.
Okay. If we take our tabards off and our hats,
yes.
Whoever has them left, how identifiable is our regalia as?
Leather tunic, leather chaps, and heavy boots. So no, not. It's not obvious who you would look like. You wouldn't like musketeers.
Cool. Well, in that case, do it now. Remove my tabard and sort of fold it inwards and roll it up.
Okay.
Yeah, follow suit.
And I suggest we start to row to Gibraltar.
It's going to take you about half an hour to an hour, maybe 45 minutes, to row in the dark, heading towards the lights of Gibraltar.
Okay, start pulling.
Do any of us speak Spanish?
Now, I'm going to let each of you roll a ubiquity dice, and odds you don't, evens you do.
See?
No.
Yes.
No.
So how many? 3 of you can't speak. 3 of you can't speak Spanish.
Am I the only one with an education?
Oh, no, I can speak Spanish.
Oh, cool.
I speak Latin.
It's easy.
I can speak French.
That's so 2 of you can speak Spanish. 45 minutes pass, and you get closer and closer to the shore. Where are you going to land? Are you going to land in the port, or are you going to land off to some distance? How exactly are you going to get to Gibraltar itself? What's your plan?
As we discussed it on the way,
what do the sailors think? Do the sailors think that we're likely to be caught if we just sail straight into the harbour?
The old guy says it will be okay for us. We are sailors. You are musketeers. You may live. I don't know. You may end up at the end of a rope, or shot as you get on shore. As he turns Welsh.
Well, why don't we get them to drop us some distance away?
Yeah.
A good idea, my friend.
And then they can take the boat and just never have to mention us.
Okay, it is quite dark. They can sail you to a nearby cove, drop you off, and then they can sail in.
If we get caught in a cove, we will be taken for smugglers.
Yes, possibly if you get caught.
If we get them to take us into port, and Gill and I, we are not wearing musketeer uniforms.
No.
We just need a good cover story and to be able to bluff our way through.
Gill's on mute. So,
Bluff?
What's your choice? What's your decision? You're going to bluff it or get dropped off?
The thing, as we're rowing, the problem is that they're going to be a lot more attentive in the port, probably asking questions like what ship were you on and all that type of thing.
Yeah.
And then you're relying on the sailors not to turn us in for the reward money. I whisper as we're rowing with the sailors.
No, let's get dropped off before we get to Gibraltar. Let's go to the cove. Let these guys on their way. They're dead weight.
Smuggler's Cove.
My vote's for the cove too.
Even if we get caught in the cove, there's going to be less guards there than there is in the main port.
That's true. We have a chance there.
Yeah, very well.
Okay, so they row closer to the beach where the cove is, and they drop you off in a small secluded cove, and then wave and row away. At this point, you only seen the one ship, the one longboat. The other longboat you didn't see.
Okay.
Whether they made it or not.
We don't have enough money to buy horses and stuff, do we?
No, you've got enough money to stay in inns and buy food. You would need to.
We have enough money to steal horses.
Yes, plenty of you. You've got more than enough money to steal horses if you need them.
Can we take a look at the map again?
Yes. Let me get the map up.
As we're huddled in the cove going, what are we going to do now?
Okay, so we'll go with this map. Now, so on your map, you've got... So, you sailed in... Where's my... There it is. So you sailed in here. And you are now in Gibraltar. So your options would be steal a ship or get passage to go there, or it's a 2-day hard ride across country. That's probably longer than 2 days, but it's 2 days. So this would take a couple of hours. This would take a couple of days.
How... I mean, is there things, when you enter a city, are there the city wall? I mean, Gibraltar is a defendable place, but how sort of, city guards asking people, what were things like at this time?
Okay, so the Spanish had this, and it's only late 1600s that the English took over and kept it. So it was just a little port at the end of a peninsula.
Right. So it's not a big secure area. So maybe we go there, see about getting a boat up the coast.
Now you would have French ships, French merchant ships, sailing into port, because whilst they may be at war, there is some degree of trade between Morocco. I believe at this time you've got French Morocco and Spanish Morocco.
Right.
So the top bits of the right.
We could get to an inn and let Guillaume and Edouard. Is it Guillaume and Edouard who speak French or Spanish?
Louis.
Gill and Louis.
Guillaume and Louis to go out and see if they can find a ship.
I don't know about you, but after our last experience on the water, I think I would prefer to stay on dry land. But hey, I will go wherever you want to go.
The ship will be quicker. We don't want the lady to escape our grip, our grasp.
It is strange, those green musketeers.
Yes, that was the good part.
It was for some. But
yeah, it does strike you as odd the fact that this just turned out. This whole attack was almost as if they were waiting for you.
Yeah.
If they wait for us on dry land, it would be difficult, it would be easier to evade them.
Yeah, and we don't drown so easily also.
No.
Who were the 4 women that were with Madame de Winter?
You don't know. You don't know. You couldn't establish who the 4 women were.
No stories of them being green or anything.
No witches.
No.
Okay.
Because I think it's going to be difficult to find somewhere where we can steal 4 riding horses, isn't it? I mean, they're not that... People around here might have something for a farm, but...
Not on the rock itself. If you were to make your way up the peninsula and go to a farm, maybe. But certainly the rock. There would be donkeys and shire horses in the port, which would be used for carrying goods. But riding horses, possibly towards the outer side, the outer edges of Gibraltar, where merchants may come in, and there may be liveried horses in stables, in inns that you might be able to steal or hire. But you don't quite have enough to buy horses, but you've got enough for food. So the decision would be, well, you're currently standing in a cove in the dark.
Whatever we do, we're going to have to find somewhere to stay.
We should walk inland. We can discuss this on the road.
And find a road and then head in the direction we need to go. And think of a story if we get stopped.
Okay. It's very quiet. You make your way through the cove, onto the beach, and up onto a dirt path. The dirt path heads left down towards the port, or right further inland.
We need to be heading left anyway, don't we? Because that's the way we're going.
Towards the port.
I'm inclined. I mean, I know there could be another boat waiting for us to attack us, but the idea of getting there in a couple of hours, not having to go across the land where there's, possible patrols, etc., seems to be, if we exclude the Flying Dutchman and Demon Musketeers, the most sensible way to go.
Probably the more comfortable as well.
True.
Stealing horses, we start off getting chained. It's just, if we could find a boat, even a small boat that can take us up the coast for however much.
Especially if we could find a French boat.
Absolutely.
So, are you going towards the town, to the port, or are you heading into...
Does anybody think we should head inland? Because I'm leaning towards the port.
I think we should go and look at the port. And if the port turns out to be a bad idea, then we can head out and try and find somewhere to get horses.
Yeah. Okay. And we're also going to need some supplies, like food and drink.
I like the idea of food and drink.
There'll be plenty of bars, inns, and taverns in the port itself.
Now, let's go to the port.
Only one of you...
Obviously...
Go on.
Obviously, we have all taken off our tabards and rolled them up. I don't know if we've kept them with us or dumped them, but...
I was about to say that. So are you going to keep your hats and tabards rolled up in your packs, or are you going to...
It's a way, so...
How cold is it?
You're actually dry. Now, none of you went. Two of you went in the water, so two are quite cool. It is not a... you're in the Mediterranean, so it's a warm night.
If we don't need the tabards to keep warm, then I suggest we dump them. But I also wouldn't like to freeze to death.
No, the tabards won't keep you that warm, but they will attract attention because they are musketeer tabards.
Let's dump them then.
With a giant...
bury them.
Bury them. With a giant target on the front.
Yeah, I don't like the target idea. Yeah, let's just bury them.
Steve, you're muted.
Stephen, you're muted.
Sorry, I'm just going to drop out for just a minute.
Yep. Okay.
Family at home.
No worries. So you begin to walk towards the port. As you get slowly down the road, you can see there are a number of ships in the harbour. You're a bit too far away to see exactly what flags they're flying, but you get further down the path and you see a number of inns to your right-hand side that look out towards the port. There is an inn with a king's head on, clearly one of the Louis, a severed king's head. The next one along there is two lions, and the third bar along appears to be a hanging witch.
My vote is for the two lions.
Two lions?
Yeah. English bar, perhaps.
It's
not that far from my beaver.
Yes, English bar. So, as you get close to the front of the inn, you look out to the ships. If you make a perception roll, and it's a hard, so it's 4 successes, but you can might be able to make out a flag.
I get 3.
Okay, it's like too far away.
Got 4.
One of the furthest ships is actually flying a French flag. It's not a very large vessel, but it's definitely flying a French flag.
So there's a French. I
it's a merchant.
Say there's a French merchant in the bay. Do we want to stop at the inn and risk them sailing, or do we? They're out in the bay, so somehow we're going to have to get a boat out to them.
There should be a longboat somewhere. But I would say we go straight to the ship, see if we can get the boat.
I agree. In which case, can we walk down to the... So if we walk down to the docks,
yep,
we're keeping our eyes open for a some sort of longboat, which we're never going to be able to identify. Keeping our ears open for anybody that's speaking French, but also keeping our eyes open for a boat that we might be able to pay somebody to take us out to one of the boats in the harbour.
Okay, in the harbour itself, there is a number of what you would, I guess, view them as water taxis. So they are simple, just blokes sitting in little rowing boats and at a pier. In most ports that you've ever been to, there are, by the docks, you would see these little tenders, and guys would be sitting in them with the rowing boats, with oars, waiting to ferry people backwards and forwards if they haven't got their own tenders. So that's quite easy to see one of those.
Was someone one of those?
If you make a perception roll.
2.
Okay. No, you can't hear any French accents.
So everyone, or just you?
Yeah, everyone can make a perception roll. You're kind of just listening to the sound of the, other than your own French accents.
4.
4.
Nice.
Okay. As you walk down towards the docks, Gill turns and he can hear the sound of a French accent. There's a guy arguing with an older lady. So it's a sailor, for want of a better term. It seems to be arguing with this old lady. You're catching some words, but you caught the accent first before actually hearing what he was saying. And you're muted.
Yeah. I'm going to take a step over and try and hear what they're talking about first before jumping in too strongly.
He says to her, 3 shekels? 3 shekels? You only charged me 2 shekels last time. And that was for everything. And she goes, oh, in a kind of a, she's speaking French in a Spanish accent. She says, oh, but you want it nasty. No, 3 shekels. Or the pesos, 3 pesos. I guess not. But you 2 last time? No, 3. They appear to be negotiating some kind of.
Yes, I think I know what they're negotiating.
Yeah, she appears to be old enough to be his grandmother, and he looks like he's in the 20s, so middle-aged.
Hey, whatever gets you through the night. I'm going to tap him on the shoulder, and quietly whisper in his ear in French, hey, my friend, are you off a boat here?
Oh, oui. Who's asking?
I'm going to say, we are, myself and my friends, we are also French. We are here, we are looking for some assistance. What boat are you from?
He points out into the bay and he says, I'm from the merchantman.
All right.
And that's roughly the direction that you saw the French ship in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, my friend. If you can give us an introduction take us to your ship and give us an introduction to the master, I can make sure you have plenty of pesos for everything you need for the rest of the evening.
Okay, he's going to make a decision. After he's dropped his dice. 4, 5. And he nods his head. He puts his hand out. He says, it's expensive to walk over to the ship for an introduction into Captain Duroche.
Damn near impossible, I would say.
Yeah.
So you need to...
Yeah, well, that's yes, I'm sure it's very expensive. It will be even more expensive if your legs happen to be cut off as well. I'm sure, but you take us there, you get some money.
Okay, if you make you haven't got.
You want 3 pesos? 3 pesos, no problem.
Make a charisma roll.
Charisma? Oh.
Yep. So it's an average of 2, so you can put a star point in if you want.
Oh, I don't care about him that much.
I know you're trying to persuade him, so.
Yeah, I get 2.
2. Okay, so he looks down at your scarred face, and looks down at your sword, and he hums and ahs and goes, "Oh, we."
Yeah,
Follow
very
me.
nice. Good. I'm glad we have an understanding, my friend.
Starts walking down towards the docks, and points to a tender that is tied up. He says, "Get in. I'll take you to Le Capitan."
Fine, let's do that.
Okay, I mean,
Get in the ship. Undoes the rope. Is everyone getting in?
Yeah.
yeah. I'll just
And
have a
does the
quick word
rope.
with him as I pass him. Just say, "No funny business, monsieur."
I don't know what you're talking about. Funny business. Do I look painted? I know, comedian. He starts to row out to the ship. And as you get out, you see the ship is probably half the size of the ship that you came down in. And the closer you get, you see it is not the best looking ship you've ever seen. It's patched up. The sails have got hand sewn patches in them. It looks a bit rough.
This is the one with the French flag.
Yes.
Perfect.
There is a rope ladder going up to the ship. He ties off the tender. He goes, un momento. And he starts to climb up the top of the ship. You can hear him talking to somebody. He leans over and he beckons you up. Who's going first?
I will go first.
Okay.
So I don't.
You
Still
climb.
don't trust him. So I'll go ready for someone to attack me. So if they do,
So you
I'll
climb to the top of the ship and climb over the railing. And as you put your hand on the railing, you feel it move, which doesn't give you any confidence. Climb over the railing, and standing there in the centre deck, surrounded by sailors, looks to be a rather important fat man. But they are all bigger. They don't look look quite poor. This doesn't look like it's a rich ship.
Well, I shall doff my cap and give him a bow.
The boy here says you want a passage on my ship. Why should I help you?
I'll look around. I'm possibly not the right person to speak to. I'll look around and say, "Looks like you need some money, monsieur. You're pretty desperate. Look at your clothes. Look at the sheet. Look at the patches. Look at this here." And I grab hold of the rail, give it a tug.
You come on my ship and insult me? Who do you think you are?
Are the rest of us followed him up, or?
Yeah,
We are Musketeers, monsieur. And we are on a mission of vital importance for France.
somebody needs to make an intimidate or persuade roll.
Will diplomacy cover it?
Diplomacy is far better than intimidate.
In which case, Louis will walk forwards.
Push me to one side.
And sorry,
difficulty of 3.
Which dice? That should not. Can I take the average or not?
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, it's a 4. And I'll say you've heard of the Delapour family.
We have heard of the exploits of the Delapour family.
How much is your current cargo worth?
He gives you a sum. He says, why are you not in America like the rest of your family?
Not all of us.
Now, the Delapours, one strand made it to France, of which you're the last, and the bulk of the Delapours, having left Exham Priory, made their way to America. In Exham Priory.
I'd have taken a different tack with that had I realised that.
You don't really know much of your background. It's you know you're of royal nobility, but the Delapours, you haven't really studied the Delapours that much.
Okay, so I basically what I'm gonna say is with my family's contacts at court, with my contacts at court, I'm sure we can get you cargo's worth, and I'll quote a figure about 3 times that amount.
His eyes light up. He goes, "Oh, maybe. Where would you like to go? I could drop you off somewhere on the coast."
I can't remember the name of the port we were going to. Donovan.
The Donovan region, beyond the Pillars of Hercules.
Indeed.
And he gives a chuckle. Yes. I could drop you off. I believe there's several areas that we can drop you off. I'm heading up to the coast anyway, so yes. And he gives you a rough figure of what he wants to drop you off, and he will put the good name into the for the king.
Indeed. You have paper?
I have paper.
I will write you a letter of introduction to the harbour master at Marseille. As we sail down the coast. When can we leave?
We leave on the morning tide.
What time is morning tide?
8 o'clock. If you are here for 7:30, we will sail at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I turn to my companions and say, in which case one of the inns on the docks, I think.
I think I would rather stay here.
I look around with barely disguised contempt.
Yeah, you may get dirty.
I would rather stay at one of the inns. Which of the inns is better? The what's the Two Lions like?
I've had two crew killed at the Witch, one crew killed at the King's Head. So far, no crew killed at the Two Lions. But
The Witch it is.
none of my crew, none of my crew have ever slept at the Two Lions. 7:30 then.
Indeed. We'll be on the docks.
Okay. You can borrow the tender to row back.
You see, I cannot stay at the King's Head. That's not going to happen.
No.
The Witch doesn't sound like a good bet to me.
No, that sounds bad.
But
Two Lions.
I don't know.
Put it this way. The Witch is a known thing. A man of your skills should be trying something new. Nobody stayed at the Two Lions. This is your opportunity to strike new paths.
Hey, if they have alcohol, I'll stay there. Wherever you want to go, my friends. Let's for adventure.
So you row back to the...
Is Edouard coming with us, or is he staying on the boat?
I just did not want to miss the tide. But I will come with you. A night on the tiles.
What could possibly go wrong? So you make your way back to the docks, and they are very old-looking buildings. The pubs are roughly the same kind of size, and they are almost next to each other. So, Henri, you have secured passage down the coast on the French ship. You are heading back to town to stay at the safe Two Lions. So you find yourself standing outside the Two Lions. There's a number of people mulling around. So far, nobody has molested you. As you get closer to the door, okay, who has the lowest perception?
I've got a 5.
4.
4.
4.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay. Edward, you feel something brush up against the side of you.
Spin around and
there's a little girl holding your money bag, staring up at you.
grab her by the throat.
Make a initiative. No, not initiative. You're going to go with dexterity to grab hold of her before she gets to say anything. So it's quite simple. So anything more than 3. No, yeah, 3.
Juan.
1.
Yeah.
Bring your hand out, and you don't quite catch her. She smiles and darts off.
Come back!
Can anyone else try and grab her?
Give chase.
Yeah.
I yelled "come back" in French, by the way. Come back!
Come back!
Yeah. Okay. So, how fast can you run? Your movement is 7. Her movement is
8. Move 8.
You move 8. Oh, yeah, sorry, I've got one person up. So, she's a little bit more agile, but you are quite athletic. So, make a run roll. 4, 5, 6. I got a speed 6.
Oof.
Right, so rolling against speed, was that?
Yeah, so movement of whatever your movement is, you can throw star points in if you want.
Okay, does my impulsiveness work in this case?
Oh yes. If your impulsiveness, you can add the extra point for impulsiveness.
Dangerous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
Oui.
You do gain a star point for using impulsiveness. However, you come close, but she's just a little bit too far away. Oh, roll again. 4. She's heading up the coast towards roughly where you were with the cove, up that road. She got 4 this time. Beat a 4. So whilst Eduardo's running off, what are the rest of you doing?
Going, mon Dieu.
Oh, 3. Damn.
You got a
We're
3.
just standing there looking.
Oh, my money, I can see my money pouch running away.
The old veteran musketeer seems to be not as in shape as he'd like to be, shouting in French at this Spanish girl.
In the middle of a Spanish pub.
Okay.
I'm just laughing.
She stumbles at her next roll. You got to beat a 2 before she goes heading into the dark alleyways.
Now might be time to spend style.
Yeah, I've made it.
You made it. So you grab her, and she turns and starts biting you, but in her hand she still has the bag of money.
Give me that. Grab it off her.
You grab the pouch of money off her. She's on your head. You've got her by the neck, and she's attempting to bite you. What are you going to do?
Go back to your mother. I said, throw her down the alley.
She spits at you and runs off.
Yeah. French and the Spanish. I'll mosey on back to the rest of them and swagger back, swinging my pouch with a smile on my face.
Okay.
I have my money.
You've now told everyone that you're French as well.
Oh.
Enter into the bar. Behind the bar is a rather thin, tall-looking chap who's wiping glasses, spitting in them and wiping them.
Well, at least
And
they're clean.
He just stares at you as you come in. In Spanish.
Louis will walk forwards and in fluent Spanish will order a bottle of wine and 4 glasses and inquire about food initially.
So spits in the glass, puts 1 glass down, picks another, spits in it, wipes it, puts it down, and gets a glass bottle of something, uncorks it, puts it, shouts down at the cook to cook something, and takes your pesos.
Okay.
Says you
gather around the table.
There's not that many people in here. It appears to be a quiet bar. At which point you realise that Eduardo and Henri are still relatively wet. It's not cold enough outside to be shivering, but you are wet through because you jumped in the water.
Is there a fire in here?
Is there a fire inside? Yes, there is. A large
Stand by the fire.
fire.
Yeah.
Stand by the fire. You look through, and the other side of the fire appears to be the kitchen, where there's a couple of women mulling around, cooking stuff.
In which case, I will grab the bottle and one of the glasses, gesture to somebody else to grab the rest of the glasses, take it over and find the table by the fire, and put it down.
Okay. Within 20 minutes, half an hour, you've warmed up, and your clothes are
Steaming.
Yeah, relatively dry-ish. It's quite warm in there. You have been. It's been about 45. It's been over an hour and a half since you dove in the water, so you're not sobbing wet. The air is it's not cold. 20 minutes pass, and one of the women comes out carrying bowls of something. Lays them in front of you, and it is the most unappetizing thing you've ever seen. It looks like somebody has literally got some brown water, some meat, thrown it in, called it soup. She says, "Is it okay?" She puts her hand out, waiting for a tip. It's not nice, but it's edible and warm.
And we don't want to cause any ructions.
No. She hand a pacer, and she disappears out.
What is it?
It looks like it's just bits of chicken in a loose broth. If it's a chicken soup, but it's chicken and brown water.
Chicken soup should not be
tastes
that
like chicken.
colour.
Yeah, it's not. You've had better. Lots and lots better. This is foul, but it's edible.
Quietly muttering something about the standards of Spanish cooking being nothing but what you'd expect.
At least it's not English cooking.
Fair point. Take as many as few spoonfuls as I can to sate hunger. What's the wine like?
The wine is vinegary. Very vinegary.
Well, at least it helps. At least it gives some taste to the chicken.
Yes,
it's like being on campaign again, back in the old days.
Yeah.
So the evening progresses, and people come in and people go. You do notice over the course of the next couple of hours, just sitting there eating and drinking, that the place changes clientele every hour or so. There is one chap sitting in the dark who hasn't moved. He's simply sitting there in the dark, appears to be staring at you.
I have a horrible feeling that if there's a reason why the clientele ticks over quite often, and we're going to end up having to buy rooms by the hour.
I see.
The two lions on the sign outside, they weren't rampant, were they?
One was rampant. One was submissive, yes.
Well, are there any nice girls in the bar?
Funny you should mention that. There is a number of nice girls in the bar.
Oh, hell. In that case, I'm going to take my wine and go have a chat with some of them.
Okay, so you wander off chatting with one of these girls who...
yeah, I speak Spanish.
You speak fluent Spanish, and she begins to attempt to negotiate a price for a series of things, some of which you've never heard before.
I find that hard to believe.
I'm going to comment quietly to the others that I'm not sure that he's got enough money in that pouch for. for...
I don't need. I have plenty in my pouch, but I'm not talking about money.
What you must appreciate is that the four of you, whilst you are bedraggled and without your tunics, you do look well bred. You do look your complexions are you're very well kept, far better kept than most of the sailors that come in here. So clean, maybe that's the right word to use.
Hmm.
Yeah, at least something out of the bath.
Yes. A bath? Yeah. So whilst you're chatting with this young lady, what are the other three of you going to do?
I almost get up to go over and have a word with the man at the other side of the room, but I don't speak the local language, so I shall stay here and drink vinegar wine.
You haven't organised rooms for the night, and obviously the chap that's in the corner that's staring at you.
I'm looking from the wine to the soup bowl, back to the wine.
Yeah,
wondering whether or not we might not be better risking the hag.
Don't you want that, Louis?
It's extra if you want a hag.
And I'm standing by the fire, getting properly dry.
Okay.
So the rest of the room.
The young lady says to Gill, "What is your name, monsieur?"
My name is Guillaume. And you, madame?
The way you say your name,
that might have been a mistake.
No, the way you say name is in a distinctly French way. You wouldn't, if you, whilst you can speak Spanish and you would be fluent talking Spanish, if when you say your name, you would obviously revert back to a French way of saying it. And she's taken back. Oh, are you not Spanish?
Oh, my father is Spanish, but my mother, she is from France.
Oh, we are at war with France, are we not?
Yeah, and that's what my mother said when my father brought her home. But hey, it's always the same. Men and women, they're always at war, right?
She says, I don't remember my father. I never met him.
Yes.
Anyway,
I don't have a particularly surprised look in my face.
Do you have a room? We could finish the evening. You don't have a room.
My friends have a room. I'm sure they won't mind.
Oh, extra for four of you.
Let me go ask them and see what they want.
Okay.
So I wander back to these guys and find out what's going on.
We need a room. Could you arrange that?
Who has our money? Where is the room? I think I have some action here.
Each of you got a pouch of money.
I have money for the room, and that's it. I have money for my room, but that's it.
Oh, we each have a room? Oh, we are spending expense tonight, my friends, huh?
Yeah, you have enough money to buy a room, to rent a room for the hour or the night.
Well, we probably need some sleep after all the action we've had.
So, unless you have any plans to do anything specific, we could move things along to the morning if you would like. Unless you want to have a chat with the chap in the corner, or continue with the girl. If you want to move it on to.
Well, how good looking is the chap in the corner? I'm not fussy.
I kind of guessed that the chap in the corner is actually a pimp. From glancing over at him, does that seem to be reasonable, or
make a perception roll?
4.
Okay, you stare at him, and realise that, in fact, this guy hasn't moved or blinked in about an hour.
He's obviously eaten too much of the soup.
Well, he's not our affair. Shall we retire for the evening, mes amis?
Grant snatch up the bottle and we the nightcap.
Okay.
Yeah. When we get up to the room, I am going to put a chair under the door handle.
I've just had a more disturbing thought. Rather than the guy being dead, maybe he wasn't dead. And just, had been staring for an hour.
Yeah, I decided I wasn't going to follow that one either.
Yeah, either way.
Do we have a window in our room?
Yes, there is a window.
Look out the window for suitably dramatic exits.
Okay, so roll one dice. If you get a success, then you have a room at the front and can view the harbour. If you get if you don't get a success, then you've got a room at the back and can only view the alleyways and the.
Got a success.
You can success. So you can look out the front and you can see the ships in the port.
Lucky you.
But also just see, where we can jump to if we have to exit the inn from the window.
Okay.
Is it
communal escapes?
Communal room?
You can either have one large room between you or 4 separate rooms. Entirely up to you.
I think one large room makes more sense.
Indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you bed down for the night, and the night passes without incident, and you awake at 7 o'clock in the morning to the sound of cockerels crowing.
Mm-hmm.
Make your way downstairs and have breakfast, and the guy is still sitting there in exactly the same position, hasn't moved at all.
If it's slightly lighter, is there anything that I can notice about his clothes, or
just a black cloak, and he appears to have a wooden beer mug in front of him that he was holding on, and he's simply staring.
Does he look human? I mean, not does he look human, but is it a possibility he's some sort of statue or?
If it is a statue, it's a very well painted statue, but you think he was human. He may have died at some point in the last night. Doesn't look terribly old, maybe 30s, 40s, so middle age, really, I suppose.
Maybe we should get breakfast somewhere else.
yeah?
Okay, so you pay your money, and are you going to go to the Witch or the King's Head?
Or we can go to the boat and eat there.
Yeah. Strict about.
Yeah, I mean, on the docks there'll be people selling bread, fish, and lots of fish.
Yeah,
That sounds like a good plan. Fresh fish from the docks, my friend.
Okay, so you grab some food, you make your way to the tender, and eventually find yourselves on the merchant ship at 7:45. The captain welcomes you, Captain Duroche. He says, we shall be setting sail in about 15 minutes, give or take. You are welcome to meander around the ship if you like, or we have no quarters. Don't stand too close to the edge. I haven't lost many sailors overboard, but, sometimes accidents happen. Ship begins to weigh anchor, and it starts to slowly move out, heading towards the Straits of Gibraltar.
Sort of just nonchalantly hanging around near the longboats while we're traveling.
Okay.
Just in case.
But the right side of the longboat's not to be too close to the rail.
Yeah, it's not the broken bit. These are wobbly. The wobbly bit. It's going to be about a 2 to 3 hour sail down the coast. I'm sure it's longer, but that continues without any incidents for the first hour and a half. After about an hour and a half, from the crow's nest, you hear a ship, You look back, and there is a ship in the distance. Appears to be possibly following you, but certainly heading in the same direction you're heading.
It doesn't appear to be like the Jolly Roger.
You can't see from this distance unless anyone has a spyglass.
How many masts?
It has 3 masts.
So is it of the same kind of shape as this fabled Dutchman that the sailors were all whittering on about previously?
You can't tell. The Dutchman you saw side on, this ship is straight on, so you can see some masts, but you can't quite see the shadow, the shape of it, or the silhouette to see if it's exactly the same type of ship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask probably the first mate rather than the captain, because I'm guessing at this point the captain's busy. Do they have guns on board?
Okay, so you find the first mate, who appears to be a 7-foot-tall, oily black chap. He's just wearing joppers, and his whole upper body is well oiled, and he is very muscle. What do you want?
Do you have guns?
Guns? Guns? Well,
muskets.
2. Oh, musket. 2 guns. We had 2 guns on board.
Where?
Captain's quarters. We have the little pistol he has, and that big cannon thing. Blunderbuss or whatever. Why, are you thinking of killing some of the crew?
I was more wondering whether or not they'd be for sale.
For sale? I have to speak to the Capitan. Maybe he will do a deal on the pistol. I don't know. The captain, you notice at the top of the foredeck, or the aft deck, steering the ship, basically whistling to himself.
Walk down to the aft deck and just look at that boat until we can see it better.
Okay, it appears to be a similar shape to the galleon you sailed in, but I mean, there aren't that many designs. Yes, with a front. It's either French or Spanish. There's very few different designs of ships. Looking at the front, it does not appear to be the Flying Dutchman. It doesn't look from where you are. It doesn't get any closer, but it doesn't look like the Flying Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman sailed much quicker, and from what you remember, had larger sails.
Mm-hmm.
The captain turns and says, "Oh, is there something wrong?"
To me?
Yes. Yeah, if you come upstairs to look behind.
Yeah. What language is he speaking?
He's speaking French.
French. I hope not. I'm just watching. There's not much to see on the sea, and I'm just watching this boat that is traveling in the same direction as us.
He says, he points to the wheel. He says, "Hold on to that," and he pulls out a spyglass, puts up to his eyes. He says, "Oh, it's that. Oh, it's him. Oh, ignore him. He's a rival. Please let me have the."
Back to him.
He rambles off some Spanish name that you don't quite hear. Jose. Bleh. Bleh. Ignore him. It is nothing.
Okay.
Quite disgruntled, he heads back to the wheel and starts to steer the ship again. The other 3 of you are down at the main deck, still with the large first mate. "I'm busy," he says. "If you are going to do something, I have to swab the decks and brace the mainsail, and other sailor terms.
Go ahead.
And he wanders off. As he wanders off, you hear a dunk, dunk. You realise he's actually got one leg. The other's a wooden stick.
Okay, so Louis needs to write out this letter of introduction for the captain.
Yep.
So he's going to go over and ask for some details, because obviously that'll need to go in the letter.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's going through that, he's going to mention that the first mate said that the captain had a pistol.
I have a pistol. If let me get a member of crew. Starts flicking his fingers. You up here, and one of the crew members comes up. Steer, come with me. I'll take you to my cabin. Goes down to the main deck. Underneath where he was standing, there is a door which he opens into his cabin. There is a waft of dust and mildew that enters your nose as you open the cabin door. Inside is a rather grubby main cabin. He starts rummaging around in his desk, and he produces a bit of paper and he starts wiping it, and it appears to be there's some writing on it. He turns it over. He goes, "Oh, this is perfectly fine." Hands a quill. He says, I do have a pistol. What is it to you? So as you're writing,
our guns were lost in an accident before we arrived at Gibraltar, and I was wondering if your pistol may be for sale, if it has powder and shot enough.
He says, I possibly. Let me think. 4, 1, 2. I have got a small bag of 6 shot and some powder. I could sell it to you for a small fee. Yes, I could sell it to you.
I carry on writing out the letter and so may I see the pistol?
He gets his old wheel lock pistol out. It's a single shot. It's not the newest of models, maybe a decade old. It looks functional, and he will sell it to you for a reasonable price. You will need to start. I'm not going to worry about too much about the amount of money everyone has, unless you want to buy unreasonable stuff. He will sell it to you for a small fee.
In which case, I will buy the pistol and powder and 6 shot.
So you have 6 shots. After you fill out the letter, you hear from outside, "Land hoy." He says, "Oh, we must be close to dropping off." Outside, everyone that's outside sees the coast of Spain come closer as the ship enters a small bay. They lower anchor. He says, "There we go. There's a dawn of innovation. Good hunting."
Thank you. Merci.
Thank you, monsieur.
Merci.
Make sure he's got the letter, and
So everyone signed it. You get into the rowing boat, and they take you to shore, drop you off, and row back, and you see the galleon sail away. So, what are your plans?
I'm trying to think what our plans were beforehand. Sorry, carry on.
Where are we in relation to, when we land our destination?
It's this whole region you're in is where you're going. You haven't got a direct You haven't got to direct a location rather than a region.
Okay, well then we should probably find a decent inn. One with better food.
Indeed.
Okay.
And then, let's get the lie of the land.
It's a rather rugged landscape. There appears to be large rolling hills, long rolling hills. In the far distance, heading inland, there appears to be a light.
Is it like a single light house thing, or is it like a village type of cluster of lights?
Possibly a single light, or a very, very tight cluster of lights.
But it's the only light we see.
Yes.
So, what time of day is it now?
8, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, lunchtime.
Okay.
So we'll say 1 o'clock.
So it's more of a building than a light.
Yes.
Okay, well, mes amis, I think that is the way to go for now.
Indeed.
Yeah. Hitch up my sword belt.
Let's go to adventure.
Okay. It's a 45-minute walk inland to where the light is. As you get closer and closer and closer, you see that it's actually a building.
Mm-hmm.
It's a building that looks like this. Where's the...
Okay, it's like
It
an inn.
appears to be a travelling inn.
It can't be any worse than the place last night.
Famous last words, my friend.
Hope the patrons are alive.
There is smoke coming from the chimney.
Well, let's
So
go
what?
and...
It's midday.
Time for lunch.
Yep. And get information.
Okay. Outside the inn, there is a small boy cleaning out what looks like a trough of some description, and he's humming to himself. Not aware of your walking up, but that's all you can see. You can't see. There's nobody else outside. The road that goes past the inn is very well travelled. The inn itself looks old, maybe 100 years old, but it's well kept, well looked after. But it does appears to be well used. The right-hand arch appears to go into goes into a courtyard where they keep horses, and there's a door on your right. The kid, maybe 10, 15 years old, totally oblivious to the three or four, 1, 2, 3, 4 of you. He's going.
I open the door and walk into the inn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Follow.
Sorry?
I follow. We follow. Just, yeah.
Okay. Inside the inn, there's to the right-hand side, there's a bar, a series of tables. There's a couple of people in there. Nobody there's no nobility, there's no soldiery. It just appears to be merchants or passes through. Behind the bar, there is a portly-looking lady who's wearing a bonnet, and she says in Spanish, "Hello, can I help you, sirs?"
Bottle of wine and 4 glasses. And what do you have to eat?
We have rabbits. We have some deer. Might be able to rush up a couple of ducks and some eggs, sir, some bacon.
Oh. I'm going to look round to my companions with a far, far broader smile on my face than you've seen for a while.
Bacon.
Say, Gentlemen, what would you like with your bacon?
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, venison sounds good to me. Wine, and we'll find well, I'm guessing the tables are cleaner than they were last night as well.
Yes, this is a traveling inn, so it has the clientele has a bit more money and aren't rough sailors, so it's well used, but it's homely and well looked after. She produces some very clean wine glasses, well, metal goblets really, but hands them down, starts pouring, and the wine is much. It's not the best wine, but it is much more palatable than the vinegar you had at the docks. And she says, "Oh, have we been travelling far? So, have you come from town? You heading?" She starts asking questions about where you've come from, where you're going, as she's pouring the drinks out.
Where I'm going is right in the middle of a giant hunk of meat and a huge glass of wine. So just bring it on.
Oh, certainly, sir. Certainly, sir.
I will
Fills your glasses.
Yeah, I will smile. I will be as evasive, and I will talk as fluently as possible, whilst being as evasive about any details as I can manage, and try and turn the topic of conversation towards possible other travellers that have come through. You know, at some point, if she says, "Oh, that's unusual," I really, you know, do you not often get travellers through?
So you have to be careful on the road. So we get some odd types travelling through. Yesterday, for example, we had a group of, and she spits on the ground, Frenchies come through. Ugh.
Indeed, terrible,
Disgusting. Had to burn the linen. Ugh.
How many?
Well, there was the group of women, and then there was the group of men. So maybe 10, maybe 12 Frenchies in total, in two groups.
In two groups, not travelling together. I would have thought the roads were dangerous for unaccompanied women.
No, days apart. Well, there was a group of 4, 5, 6, 7. How many women were there? There was the 2 plus the 4 plus the girl, so there was 6 women.
A girl was with them.
Seven women. 7 women. There was the two pretty noble women, and the 4 ugly ones, and the young girl.
Ugly ones, you say?
Yes, ugly. Not as pretty as the noble lady.
I see. And yeah, where were they headed? Do you know?
They were headed due west. About a day and a half to travel that way. There is another inn. So they were heading that way. That was, so let's see. The women passed through 2 days ago, and the French men passed through a day ago.
I'm surprised that the French are just able to openly walk through our countryside.
Well,
Desperately trying to keep his accent under control.
They're not, sir. They're not, sir. We did inform the magistrate that what had happened, and I believe some inquisitors were sent. Can't have heretics running around the city.
Absolutely not. We can't have those French people with their sinful ways running around the countryside. French women,
no.
They're the scourge of Christendom.
Exactly. That's why we sent we sent the Inquisition down to them.
And we should go too and help them out. Who knows
all Catholics?
What temptation those bawdy French women can lead even a pure Spanish Inquisitor into. It takes men like us to help them.
Exactly, sir. Indeed, there were whores, filthy whores, must be.
Well, they're French.
Good Spanish.
Goes without saying.
Yes. Can I get you any more wine, sir? Your two companions appear to be quite quiet. Are they?
Oh, yeah, they're boring. No, don't worry about them. And ugly.
Oh,
Tired from the road as well.
Tired, smart. So, what are we going to do, gentlemen? Shall we go after these scurrilous French whores, or shall we rest first?
I'm going to order another bottle of wine, and as she gets it, very quickly explain the conversation to the other two.
yes.
Yeah.
And say, do we need to get horses to follow them if they're a day and a half ahead of us?
Probably, if we can find some.
See. Yeah,
With,
I'm learning the language. See.
with this kind of inn, you would get a horse, ride to an inn, replace your horse with another horse, and so you have a fresh horse at the inn. So they would keep horses there that we use to rotate, that you would rotate through the inns, kind of like an Uber service for medieval times. So it's possible that you could get your hands on horses, but because you haven't got a horse to swap, you'd either need to buy one or steal it in the night. Otherwise, it's walking.
I like the second idea. I got to take a break for a few minutes. Sorry, guys. We'll be back.
No worries. So,
I think Gill ought to steal the horses while we're no.
Well, I'd rather pay, but we're in Spain. I want it well with them, so and anything we can do just to screw them over a little bit. I'm all for.
It would probably be treasonous to pay.
yes, because the money. Yes, probably treasonous.
We're not going to lose that much time if we wait. If we're going to have to wait until nightfall, then we're not going to lose that much time. You know,
you'll gain 8 to 9 hours before being discovered, whereas stealing during the day, you'll be discovered quite quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have half a plan, which involves taking the remains of one of the bottles of wine.
Yep.
Out and chatting to the stable boy and leaving the bottle with him.
Nice.
Okay.
Haven't really got much further than that at the moment.
It's a beginning of a plan.
Yeah.
It's a beginning of a plan. So what we can do is we can cover that and let Gill stay in the room drinking and speaking Spanish if he needs to. So you're going to go outside and speak to the boy.
Yeah.
You can enter the stables area from the main house or the main yard, as it were.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm also trying to get a feel for where the bedrooms are in relationship to the stables.
Okay.
Again, I'm just thinking if we can get a bedroom that's kind of next door to the stable, then all we've got to do is jump out the window in the middle of the night, nip into the stables, grab a couple of horses, and skidoo, rather than walk out through the inn and round to the stables.
So this is the first floor, the ground floor. Sorry. So the stables are. So you came in from this.
Right by the
stables are here.
kitchen.
Yep. However, if we go to the if we go to this one, these are the private rooms. So you have got a window into the stables.
Gods.
If you wanted to.
Yeah.
So there's not enough people in here to have rooms fully booked out. So you can specifically asked for rooms over the stables if you wanted
Which is
to.
a bit odd.
Yeah, it might be better to make sure that we got. I think if we sleep in the dormitory,
Yep.
then, well, aside from someone of my class doesn't do that, if we sleep in the dormitory, we are more likely to be discovered getting up.
Mm-hmm.
If we sleep from a quick look at that, it looks like the single rooms have a window that we could get out of, even if it doesn't lead straight to the stables. So I think that sounds like a plan. So the next thing is to go and chat to the stable boy and swing a bottle of wine and be chatting to him and say, "Oh, I hear there was some excitement with two separate groups of French people coming through."
So he reinforces what the lady said, and he goes into a tiny bit more detail. That he says that the French knights, the French soldiers, he did overhear them saying that they were hunting for some French musketeers. He says they were there he overheard them talking about trying to stop some musketeers getting to some Lady of Summer or something.
I will take a swig from the bottle of wine, offer it to him, and say, "What is the world coming to when musketeers, not only French soldiers, but musketeers themselves, can be wandering through the French countryside, through the Spanish countryside?"
And he indicates that he's met some musketeers who were just deviant scum who like sleeping with men and horses.
Indeed. When did you meet musketeers? This far from France.
Years ago. He's clearly lying, but he's just trying to. He's a 10-year-old boy. He's trying to beef up his presence. So yes, but I would. It's not the French soldiers that would worry me. It was the women. Women scare me, but these women, they really scared me.
I can't imagine for one so young and strong that you would be scared of women. There must have been something deeply heinous about them. And at the same time, I'm encouraging him to drink as much of the wine as
he gets drunker. He kind of says that the inquisitors that came through said they were chasing 5 witches, but there were 7 women.
The landlady said one of them was but a girl.
See, pretty young thing. Anne, she said her name was.
With French witches.
And she said, yes, she says that she was very polite, but yes, witches, must be witches. That's what the Inquisitor said.
Terrifying. And heading west.
Heading west towards the inn.
I am pleased that my companions and I are not going that way, but heading east.
Excellent. And he takes another swig, and you see his eyes begin to swirl in his head. So I need to lie down.
Indeed, I apologise. I take the bottle and help him round and try and make sure
he begins to reach. Oh, I need to. Excuse me, sir. I must go.
Indeed.
He runs off, and you can hear him in the outside privy, just throwing his entire life up.
I shall return to the bar. I think I might. I'll take the bottle with me. I'll return to the bar and inform my companions. I will sit down at the table and say I wouldn't drink too much more of that. It's apparently far stronger than us French can possibly take.
Okay, so the whilst you're chatting, the bar lady comes over and says, "Oh, sir, would you like rooms for the night, or are you just staying for the evening?"
Indeed. Do you have 4 private rooms?
Oh, see, and she gives you a selection of rooms. 2 are overlooking the stables, and the other 2 are overlooking the front of the inn.
Indeed, those would be marvelous.
Excellent. So the night passes, and more alcohol's brought, and not much happens. A couple more people turn up, a couple people leave, and you find yourselves retiring for the evening.
So I think we're all going to have to go to separate rooms initially, because otherwise it's going to look very suspect.
Yep.
Might get mistaken for Frenchies.
Musketeers, no less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when all's quiet, whoever's in the 2 rooms at the front could go to the rooms at the back, and then we can. I'm guessing it would look like it would be quieter and easier to get from the windows at the back to the stables. Does that sound? Yeah.
To do that, you simply need to, of an even, once you've all got into the one room, is to make an athletics check to climb out the window. If you haven't got athletics, then it's base dexterity.
Base dexterity or double dexterity? You're going to say base dexterity, aren't you?
4.
Double dexterity if somebody is helping you out. If you're going out on your own, base dexterity. Or you could use some of the bedding and make a rope, not rope, bed, rope.
I think I may have to do that, because I am far too vain to.
Okay, you have a star point for speaking to the little boy.
Woohoo! Thank you.
Fine.
I'm going to have to spend one of the points.
So fighting ghost musketeers is easy. However, climbing out of a window is beyond some of you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You'll notice that some of us weren't fighting ghost musketeers in the first place either.
Yes.
Talking to 10-year-old, getting 10-year-old boys drunk. That's this character's real forte.
Oh, we can tell he's a musketeer.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, so, by the way, are you sure that are there 4 horses in the stables?
He didn't look.
Right.
Did we hear any horses?
Yes, you did hear horses. You have no idea how many there are until you get down, and then we'll make a roll to see how many horses there are.
4 successes.
4 successes.
Four successes,
You climb down.
How many successes do we need?
2, because it's quite an easy, average thing to climb out of a window. It's not...
I am going to spend one of my style points. Go on. Hey, 3.
3.
Yeah.
So we will assume that Gill climbs out the window quite successfully, and inside the stable there is 1d6 plus 1 horses. Who has a 1d6 they'd like to roll to tell me how many horses they find?
I can do it if you want.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay. 1d6 plus 2, because at least gives you a
There are
base.
8 horses in there.
8 horses.
Yes.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
So you steal the horses
So I have a
and
choice.
begin.
Well,
Begin
before
to
we
ride
steal
off.
the horses, just make sure we can get a route out of the inn and everything's prepared.
Yes, the back gates are out. You can open the back gates and simply ride out the back way.
We're not stealing remounts, are we?
No, you can see which ones are fresh and which ones aren't.
Yeah.
Okay. The ones that aren't French, I was going to say aren't
Aren't
French,
French.
aren't fresh. Can we take them and send them off east?
Yes, you would simply point in the right direction, hit their bums,
Slap
and they
them
would
on
just
Yeah. and then we'll ride west.
Maybe
Clever
get
move.
off the road a little bit for a while,
So
try and cover our tracks as best we can.
the path or the road to the next inn follows the topography of the ground, so it's quite obvious where it is. You might not see it all the time, but there's a natural kind of valley, and you can see where there should be a path. So you assume that's heading forwards. If you're going to go off ground, you would kind of run parallel to that.
Mm-hmm.
Time passes, and after a couple of hours hard riding, you see in the distance another inn.
Mm-hmm.
What time of night is it? Is it?
So what time did you decide to? So it's it's 3 hours after you climbed out the window.
So I would have said we'd probably climb out the window about 1 a.m. So it's now about 4 a.m. I'm thinking we want to slow down and go quietly past that inn.
Yeah.
So as not to arouse any suspicion. Maybe even walk the horses past the inn and then take off again in the hopes that the hopes that they won't hear us.
And not ride easy, so we don't wear out the horses.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. So it's about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. You're quite tired, but you come across another inn in the distance. These don't appear to be too far. So it must be a well-travelled route. But you come across another inn with the lights on.
I would suggest, gentlemen, breakfast, a change of horses, perhaps, and then head on.
We will assume that you put saddles on these ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
More information too.
Okay. The stable boy takes your horses as you ride into the inn. The inn doesn't seem to have a name. You ride. Takes your horses, tells you he will change them for new ones, and they'll be ready for whenever you're ready to go. Make your way into the inn, and if I get the map up, where's the map? There it is. This layout. So you come in here. The horses are looked after here. And you make your way into the inn. This is a much more grander inn than the previous one. Maybe it was an old manor house that was converted. There's a very well kept chap behind the bar, and he says in Spanish, "Oh, can I help you, messieurs? Senors?
We must be away soon, but we were hoping for breakfast and a chance just to rest for a while, and fresh horses, of course.
Certainly. Bacon, eggs, beans, and quality breakfast.
See?
Croissants.
I recognize those
Tapas.
words even in French and not. Yeah.
Tapas. I don't know what the Spanish have for breakfast. So he arranges a traditional Spanish breakfast, which is exquisite for a travelling inn, and the fact that you've eaten slops for the last few days. But it's really nice, and quality wine, sort of quality wine, not court quality, but certainly drinkable.
It's Spanish, but hey.
Yeah. So are we travelling on business, or is it pleasure, or what brings you to this part of the Spanish country?
Can you keep a secret?
Signor, I am an innkeeper. Of course I can keep secrets.
We heard that there were French spies and French soldiers that were being pursued by the Inquisition.
The Inquisition.
We are trying to catch up with them.
Well,
government business. You understand. Court business.
He says, if sirs would like a bit of a spectacle, I believe if you go out the back to the barn, the Inquisition are preparing to question the witch they caught. Might be quite a sight to see, I must admit.
Indeed. Oh boy. In which case, I will head back to my companions and.
So that would be here. This is where he's suggesting they may be. So your horses were here, dropped off in the main barn, and around the back here is where he's suggesting the Inquisition are questioning a young lady. Witch, sorry.
The Inquisition have.
Well, we must.
Yeah, you heard.
What are we waiting for? Stand up.
We cannot let them manhandle a woman in that nature.
Indeed.
So,
march out. Handle and sort out.
Weapon-wise, okay, you make your way around the side of the building and start walking towards the barn. It's a ramshackle a barn. There does appear to be some bales of hay or bales of something at the front, and by the bales, looking in through the gaps in the planks, appears to be 4 men who just are looking through the gaps.
Mm-hmm.
You don't recognise them.
What's their, are they wearing like a uniform or?
Make a perception roll.
Perception. 4.
I've got 3.
2.
Okay, they appear to be wearing similar to, or if not exact, travelling robes, travelling garments of the Cardinal's men.
The Cardinal's
men
are...
Monsieur Rodney, sure. The French, the Cardinal Richelieu's men.
Right.
They're not wearing their tabards, but they do look suspiciously like you've come across these guys in the past. And it's just the boots and the way, and their pantaloons or trousers and their tops. They just look like Cardinal's guards.
With pantaloons like that, they must die.
They are intent on looking through. And that's when you can hear, as you get closer, the sobbings of a young girl. A French girl is saying, "Please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me. I'll tell you everything. Please don't hurt me."
I draw my sword.
Yeah, I'll draw mine. I'll say to the others, "You've got to save the girl. I will take these Cardinal's men."
Wait. Take the Cardinal's men. Announce that they're French. Then we can draw the Inquisition out. And thus save the girl.
I think we're already running in to get the girl.
You're too cunning, monsieur.
I like this plan.
Too cunning.
In which case, I will leap forwards and discharge my pistol at one of the men peering through the thing and say, "My God, French soldiers!" in a loud Spanish voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll back him up by saying, "Get the French bastards!"
And then and burst into the...
Okay, so we'll just do this first thing first. You've got to fire and shoot. You've got we said it's a matlock musket. Make an attack roll. We'll give you the initiative. So it's 8 dice.
5.
5. Boom! Gunshots. Are you aiming to hit one of them, or are you aiming to?
Yeah.
You hit one in the back, and he goes down, and the other 3 turn to see their companion dead, with you holding the gun, shouting something in Spanish, and they just run. The other 2 of you get to the entrance of the barn as the barn door is opened, and there is a man wearing blood red robes and a red hat, and he says something in Spanish, which we have no idea what he says. Beyond him, there appears to be a little girl, maybe 15-year-old, kneeling down with the other three guys wearing red standing around her.
Kick him in the balls. And then run past him. Kick him in the balls and run past him.
Oh, so that is a strength. No, we'll say that is melee. If you've got melee, who are you? You are, let's see.
I am Henri.
Henri's got brawl. Make a brawl check.
My brawl?
Yeah, it's just a simple hit. And you get 2 or more successes.
I got 5 successes.
You got 5 successes. That is a you got 2. So that is an amazing success. You kick him so hard in the nads, his eyes roll in the back of his head, and he crumples to the floor, unconscious.
Unhand that girl, you fiends! I say in French.
Okay, so that's your action, Eduardo. What are you going to do? As you've seen, you get a style point for the nads man. You see Henri kick the Spanish Inquisition guy between the legs. He just and crumples to the ground unconscious. Beyond him are the 3 others and the girl standing in the centre.
Do I get to move and attack at the same time? If so, I shall leap into the room.
Leap into the room.
These guys are priests, aren't they?
Yes, they are the Spanish. You weren't expecting them, but they are the Spanish.
But they are priests.
They are priests. Yes, they are Catholic.
Which is why we don't want to actually, because we're Catholics.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Although you've sided with the Protestants, the king sided with the Protestants, you are a Catholic nation. So,
yeah, but they're Spaniards.
Yes, they are Spanish, and
well, a little bloodlust.
They don't count.
No, in some respects they are just men. Yeah, they're heretics. They're men in red dresses. So
Incapacitation then, or
yes.
A leg wound. Just dragging life.
Okay. So make an attack at the cardinal, at the priest.
Four.
4.
Yeah.
You swipe at the cardinal. These are unarmored men. You hit him clean in the chest as you go.
I was aiming for his leg actually.
Okay, you hit him to the shin. You hit him in the shin, and he goes down, holding his leg. And at that point, just as Gill steps into the barn, a couple of things happen. Gill, you see in the far corner there is a scarecrow, leaning up against the wall. It moves after the girl looks at it. It moves and starts walking towards the priests. So you need to make a sanity check.
Just Gill.
Just Gill at the moment, and then after his reaction, everyone else needs to make a sanity check. So what did you get?
3.
3. So you're okay. You're a bit startled with the fact this the scarecrow is now animated and walking towards the priests, who are screaming. So everyone else needs to make a sanity check as Louis enters the barn.
Louis got a 2 as he started drawing his rapier.
Okay. Henri got a 4. Sorry.
4. Anyone that got over 3 is fine. Anyone that got under 3 is a bit shaken. The fact that you've got this animated scarecrow.
Yeah, Ed turns his eyes open wide in surprise and shock. And
First priest screams, and the second priest runs towards where there's some braziers, not braziers, torches nearby. What are the rest of you going to do?
I'm going to
Run
run
to
to
the
the
girl.
scarecrow and try and attack him with my sword.
Okay. You
All
charge
right.
at the scarecrow.
I'm going to try and take his head off. All right. And I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9.
9.
Okay. 9. So we're good to go. With one sweep of your sword, you lop its head off,
Ha ha!
and it falls to the ground. And the priests run.
Ha! What goes? Ha 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 ha! Bonk.
You're going to gain a star point for chopping the scarecrow's head off in one go.
Well, of course I do.
9. I thought it was going to last at least 2 rounds. Anyway, he's gone down, and the little girl looks up at you. The other priests just scream and run from the barn.
You are safe now, little girl. You are not going to steal my purse, are you?
And she says in a French accent, wait, wait, wait. She leans forward slightly and says, terrible things are going to happen in the marsh. You have to stop them.
I was going to say, let us not go to the marsh then.
No, no.
Not the marsh.
What terrible things, little girl?
She looks at all of you, and you also, the two of you are speaking French. She says, the witches, they're going to perform, they're going to commune with deep, dark powers. She says, 2 days ago, we raided a nearby orphanage. And we took 24 to 11-year-olds. They're going to take them to the marsh, put them in the Wicker Man, and sacrifice them.
Mon Dieu.
So that so the lady can open the gateway. Milady de Winter, she says, has a companion who she calls Volant Pore. She has found, or claims to have found, Atlantis. This woman says that she can open a gateway to ancient Atlantis and retrieve artifacts from the past. But I got scared and ran and was captured by the Inquisition. At this point, you notice in her right hand, as she's brought them round the back, there looks like this. First of all, you think it's a teddy bear, but then it looks like a little humanoid grey creature with little horns on its head. It's clearly limp and dead, but it looks like an imp. But it's like it's just living. It's floppy and ill.
What is that?
It's my familiar. It's dead, and it is just it's an imp, but it's a dead imp that she's holding.
You have been working with these witches?
Oh, I've not been working with them. And she stands up and she says, I am one of them. And she turns into rats, and the rats just fall to the ground and start scouring everywhere.
Jump back.
Time to leave the barn.
Okay, so nobody. Oh, one more. And okay, so they swarm around you and nip at your feet and don't actually do any damage.
Because we've got big, thick boots.
Big thick boots, and they just swarm out, and you're left alone in the barn with a decapitated scarecrow, two wounded priests,
I walk past the priest, the one I kicked, and as I walk past and we're leaving, I sort of bless myself and say, "Pardon, excuse me, pardon, Pierre," and walk out.
Okay. So what are the rest of you doing?
I'll kick the guy in the balls again, just for good luck, because I feel kind of left out.
Restart the groin.
Yes. Kick him again.
Time to get the horse. I think time to get horses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's the marsh? Do we know?
No. You can have to ask to try and locate the marsh.
We can ask the wounded priest.
Yep. So the boy was sorting out a change of horses, and you can't see the other two priests. They've just gone, God knows where. And there's the French, the Cardinal's men. They vanish. You can't see anyone other than the two damaged priests in the barn. So you make your way back to the main house.
Yeah.
And the guy behind the counter says, "Oh, was it exciting, sir?" In a Spanish accent.
Could I just nip back to the dead cardinal's man? Just see if he's got a pistol on him.
Roll one dice. If you get a success, then you can find a pistol and 4 shots.
No.
No, he didn't have a pistol.
There, kicking. Got back inside.
Have we decided we're not going subtle here anymore?
Yeah, I think.
Well, I think we passed subtle when we shot somebody.
Yes.
In which case, when he says, "Was it exciting?" I'm now I haven't had a chance to reload the pistol, but he doesn't realise this, and the pistol comes up and points straight at his head, and I said, "Somewhat." Where's the marsh?
And he goes, "Oh, if you don't want to go to the marsh, sir, well, that's a terrible place to marsh."
I don't want to go to the marsh, but we're going to the marsh. Where's the marsh?
And he points in the rough direction of where he says the marsh is. There was a path heading off. It wasn't a very well-trodden path, but he explains that the marsh is a very dangerous place. Lots of people go missing in the marsh. It's very wet because it's a marsh, and it's very unstable underfoot.
I like it already.
I'm not going to be able to take a horse. And well, I've got swim, I suppose.
Travel marsh.
How far to the marsh?
He says it is a 2-hour travel. You go through the wetlands, enter the ruined village, and beyond the ruined village is the major marshland.
In which case, unless anybody else has got anything else they want to ask him, I will thank him for his help. Tell him it's the best wine and food we've had the entire time we've been in his wonderful in this part of the country, and then walk out towards the barn to go and get horses.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to get a couple of extra ones.
Snatch up a bottle from nearby and.
Okay. Lit up with some alcohol and jump on the horses. How many extra horses are you going to take?
How many
One
are there in
each?
the stables?
This is an additional 4. So you had 4. There are 4 other horses in the stables.
You have a spare each.
We could tie them up at the deserted village he spoke about.
Okay. So you head out towards the marsh. A couple of hours go past, and the distance you can see. So it's getting later. The light is beginning to dim a little bit. In the distance, you can see a farm, a ruined village. There appears to be, all that's left is 1, 2, 3, 5 buildings, beyond which there is a small mound with a tower on it. On the left-hand side of the building, in the dark, you can see some movement. As you get a bit closer, it looks like there's some kind of wolves or dogs chewing on a horse.
Maybe we won't leave the spare horses here.
We assume it was a dead horse.
You assume it's a dead horse.
It is now.
Yeah.
So, what did you plan to do?
Well, we keep going until we can't go any further with the horses, I guess.
Okay. As you get closer towards the farmstead, the 2 dogs or wolves or whatever they are, they run off, and you see a dead horse but it's been chewed and eaten by the wolves.
What type of? Does it have a saddle?
No.
Okay.
The barn on your right was a hay barn that's empty, so that's just a roof with the 4 pillars. There is a large barn on your left. There appears to be stables, the barn just ahead of that. The barn on the right, so there's 4 barns and a house. The barn on the right appears to be a chicken coop that is there are lots of white feathers and blood outside.
Mm-hmm. White feathers.
There's yes. So something's been into the chickens. Had all the chickens. Beyond that is the farmstead, and then you can see in the distance there's a mound and a little tower on top of the mound. As you get to the center of the buildings, something runs out of the barn, out of the house, and jumps down the well, and disturbs the bats. You can't quite. It happens so quickly. There's a flash, jumps into the well, and it disturbs the bats that are hiding in the top part of the well, which is just around the side by the chicken coop.
Okay. First thing, do we notice any tracks? Sorry for do we notice any tracks or freshly disturbed ground?
Lots of fresh tracks. This looks like there's been a number of horses being taken in and out. Looks like the tracks have gone down and head towards the farthest barn. Mm-hmm. And some tracks have gone past the house, heading towards roughly the mound.
Okay. Which is further away.
Yes, it's only a few minutes away. But it looks like Glastonbury Tor. It's
okay.
If we are to leave the horses, we need a secure building to put them in. So, does the barn look secure enough?
The barn on the first barn, it's a well-kept barn. If you make your way around the front, there appears to be a large wooden post holding the 2 doors shut. You can remove that and open the barn.
How far away was the well? Sorry.
The well is about 20 yards.
Oh, we'll go take a look down it while he's looking at the barn.
Okay, so open the barn and you need to make a sanity check. Look down the well and just look a dark, deep well, drop a stone, splash. So Eduardo, you open the barn, you need to make a sanity check.
Oh. 1.
Okay, you are quite shaken by this. In the center of the barn there is a pentagram. Hanging from the rafters is the carcass of a horse. There's a green exoplasm appears to be dripping from the horse onto the pentagram.
That's not good. I'll back away slowly. Going.
Okay.
Gentlemen, on a knee.
Mm-hmm.
Down the well, so you splash down the well. So what is Louis and Gill going to be doing?
More devilish things?
Well, turn around to Edouard, because he's just said what he said.
Yep.
And head over to him.
Okay, inside, anyone that goes near the barn, make a sanity check, and you see the pentagram on the floor, the carcass of a horse.
4.
4.
Yep.
Natural, it's fine.
I'm going to draw my sword and look the other direction just to scope out the rest of the territory in case anything's sneaking up on us.
Okay. In the distance, beyond the house, just between the barn and the house, you can see, further up, you see the marsh. You can see a figure on fire in the far distance. So make an intelligence roll and just get at least 1 success.
It might be difficult. Ah, yes.
You come to the conclusion that the witches have lit the Wicker Man.
Oh, crap.
I think the witches have lit the Wicker Man.
Right there.
You're going to ride to the Wicker Man.
Well, if
To
we can,
horse, my friends.
Until the ground is... I'm still on my horse, so...
You can actually
go any further?
Yes, you haven't gone that far into the marsh.
Okay.
So, charge, make a ride roll, and ride into the marsh.
Ride.
So everyone needs to make a ride roll.
4.
Difficulty of
again.
3.
Yeah, 1.
1. Okay.
Oh.
Sorry, I made it. I've suddenly realised I'm still on mute.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Gill appears to be having difficulty getting his horse to move. It seems to be.
Yeah, my horse is rearing up in fear.
Okay, so you could jump off the horse and grab one of the others, or have another go at getting the bloody thing to move.
I'll have another go.
You can use style points to boost you.
That might be an idea. I use I've got 2 style points, I think, haven't I?
Okay. You've got 2 left, I think.
Yeah, I'll use it. No, I'll. How many do I need to make this horse work?
You got your base is 4.
Yeah.
You've only got to get an average, so you only get more than 2 to actually get the thing to move.
Okay.
It's not a difficult task you're making the horse do. You're simply making it move forward and run.
Gotcha. Okay. And I still don't manage it.
Can I go back and help him if I
Yes.
notice he's not there?
Yeah, you can double back, whack the horse on the arse, and the horse will ride off. Just make a basic dex roll to make sure you don't fall off the horse as you try and whack the bloody thing. You just got to get a 1.
Yeah, I'm
Is
having
that-
extreme trouble staying on it.
Is that double dex or single dex?
Go with double dex.
That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah, 3. That.
Okay, whack the horse, and Gill, your horse rides up and starts charging off, and you're charging towards the Wicker Man. It takes about 20 minutes to get closer.
20 minutes.
Fast,
Uh-oh.
Gill. Slow down.
Not a great distance. One of the odd things that you do see, once I've found it, here we go. You get closer into the marsh, and you can see the Wicker Man. Now, the Wicker Man in question looks like.
Oh, wow.
Looks like. What's he got?
Well, that's an impressive prop, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been even.
Set a light.
Yeah, so it's.
Is there anyone in it?
Yes, there appears to be 20 children screaming inside the Wicker Man, burning. There are 4 witches surrounding the Wicker Man, raising a hand, chanting. There is a well-dressed lady standing near what looks like a stone archway, along with another woman who's wearing trousers, but she must be the other woman in question. The archway.
20 children burning is terrible, but a woman wearing trousers, that's totally over the line.
Yeah.
Sorry.
As the where's it gone? As the flames engulf the children, the doorway or this arch, the inside spins round, and there appears to be a different image inside the doorway. You charge forward, and
how big is the wicker? Sorry.
How big is the wicker man?
Could we knock it over like by charging into it?
No. I might. Yes, I'll let you have a pop at that once you've established what's gone on next. So, Milady de Winter and the woman step into this doorway thing and vanish, and that's when you hear the high pitch noise coming from the marsh. Beyond where everyone is, there is a group of figures that appear to be moving slowly towards where the Wicker Man and the witches are, and they appear to be hopping. So, initiative, what do you want to do?
Do you want us to roll?
Yes. So you need to roll initiative and sanity.
Oops.
1 for initiative.
4 for initiative.
2 for sanity.
Okay.
Blue dice.
4 for initiative and 3 for sanity.
3 initiative, 2 for sanity.
Eduardo.
1 initiative and a 2 sanity.
Okay. So once again, Henri is unfazed by these things that are coming towards you.
He's not very imaginative.
No. The rest of you notice in great detail that these are humanoid frog-like creatures that appear to be hopping and croaking, and they are making their way towards the witches. So Henri and Gill go first.
Mm-hmm.
What you get the drop on the witches. So the doorway is the gateway is still open. Milady de Winter has stepped through it. The children, given what the young witch said back in the barn, to activate the doorway to Atlantis, they needed to sacrifice the children.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm attempting to charge into the wicker thing to knock it over, to try and break it, to try and get children out.
Make a let's see, who are you? We've gone
Henri.
Make a ride. If you combine your ride and brawl roll, you can attempt to charge the horse towards the Wicker Man, smashing one of its legs, and then use an athletics roll to leap off of the horse. So make a 10 dice and then a 6 dice.
I have 4 style dice at the moment, so I'm going to use 2 for the first element.
Yep.
And that's
you're
1, 2, 3.
Charge into the leg of one of the Wicker Man, so it falls down.
8 out of 12 for the first one.
Okay, so you charge the horse into the Wicker Man's leg. It smashes in pieces, and it will fall down. To save yourself being caught up in the burning Wicker Man, you need to make an athletics roll to leap out the way.
So it's 6. And I'm going to put one of my last 2 style dice into that.
Okay.
And that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
4. So you leap out the way.
7, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's right. 4 out of 7. Yeah.
So you leap out of the way, landing on your feet as the Wicker Man crashes to the ground. Gill, what are you going to do?
I'm going to ride up towards the nearest witch.
Yep.
And as I get close to her, I'm going to leap off my horse and slash her with my sword on the way to the ground.
Okay. So there's an athletics roll to leap off the horse into combat, and a simple rapier to swipe the woman. These women are concentrating on chanting and doing their dark magic-y stuff.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 4 on my athletics roll.
Okay, so you leap off the horse.
And
it's 6 lethal with your rapier. 7 lethal with your rapier to hit the witch, who's unarmored.
7? I got 11 normally.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's only one person.
Yeah.
I'm on.
And I'm slashing her with my sword. 1, 2, 3.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you hit her as you come down with all your weight, and your sword goes through her back, and she screams, breaking the circle.
Ha-ha!
The other 3 witches will go next. They glance at you, glance at the creatures that are heading towards them, look at each other, and run. Louis.
Yes, run, spawn of Satan, run from Guillaume.
Louis, what are you going to do? You go next. Are you muted? No. So Eduardo and Louis move.
Sorry.
So Eduardo and Louis go next.
I had a plan and then they ran. At which point, how far is it to these hopping things that are coming towards us?
You can get to the gate before the hopping things will get to the gates.
In terms of range on my pistol,
you're going to have to wait until they get close enough. So they are 4 rounds away. The gate is 2 rounds away. The Wicker Man is 1 round away. Gill and Henri are at the Wicker Man. Eduardo, you are with Louis.
how are the children in this thing still alive?
Without examining them, you don't know. There are screams, less screams than before, and the crashing of the Wicker Man has put out some of the fire. It'll be another round before both Gill and Henri can actually try and get some of the kids out.
I am going to ride to the gate.
Yep.
And take an aim at one of these frog things that's pounding towards us, so that I can shoot it when it's close enough for me to shoot it next round.
Okay.
Because that way I should get a shot off and be able to ride away before they get to me, shouldn't I?
Yes, and also you're aiming, so they appear to be heading towards where the Wicker Man was, rather than where the gate was.
I will ride to the gate.
Okay.
Get my pistol out and take and draw a bead on them.
Okie dokie. Eduardo.
I would like to help with rescuing the kids some way, so I shall gallop up, dismount quickly, and start dragging any kids away from the fire that they're at sea.
Okie dokie. So, you ride over, and as you get over there, Gill and Henri, the Wicker Man has landed. There is a couple of kids still alive in there. It's the entrance is bound up. You need to cut the entrance to get the kids out. That's actually the same model I got.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
make a attack roll or strength roll to break the wooden lock of the Wicker Man. So you can use your rapier to chop open the gates.
I'm terrible at attacking things that are not people.
It's not even...
I get a 1 on 11 dice.
Oh. Okay. You swipe at it and do damage, but not enough to break it. Henri. Stephen.
Sorry, I'll cut it.
Okay. Make an attack roll against the. It's damage. You only need to get one success. You only need to get two successes to open it, but.
And that is 5. That is 2 successes.
2 successes. You break open the door, and there were 20 kids. Roll 1d6, and that is how many children you can drag alive out of the Wicker Man.
5.
5.
Mm-hmm.
25%, not too bad. So that goes down to 3. So you've made it to 2 more rounds. In the distance, these frog men creatures are hopping closer and closer towards you, and they are croaking. And
we didn't bring the girl with us, did we?
No, she
turned to rats and went. Yes, I did.
She vanished.
That's right. I know what you're saying. Who can mind the kids while we go kill these feckers?
Well, your mission is to get De Winter.
Yeah, I've sort of forgotten about that.
Yeah.
And the gateway's still open.
The gateway is still open.
Where is De Winter now? I've been concentrating on the children, so
De Winter and the other woman steps through the gate.
Right. Okay, they did. I suppose the 4 of us do that whole gather together for a quick discussion before the.
You've got one round.
King's troops.
Yeah, you've got one round before the frog creatures are upon you.
I thought it was. I thought we had. I thought it was going to take them 2 rounds to get to the gate.
Where have I got to? Hang on.
And yeah, what's the children?
Yep.
Where's the gate?
So you've actually got
3.
So there was 3 rounds left. 1 round to discuss. There's 2 more rounds before the frogmen get to the Wicker Man. Come back. Yeah, 2 rounds. So 1 round of discussion and then 2 rounds left.
Sorry, so we're at the Wicker Man.
You're at the Wicker Man.
Gate is how far
a round away.
And they're further away.
Yes, and they're heading towards the Wicker Man.
Okay, so
where the witches were.
And I'm by the gate with my.
Yes.
I'm still on my horse by the gate with my gun.
Yes, as is Eduardo. No, Eduardo was going to the.
Or Eduardo was helping with the kids.
Yes.
Turn the kids on.
Yeah, there's 5 kids.
Tell them to run.
And where's Guillaume?
With you.
I'm standing in the Wicker Man as well.
So the 3 of us at the Wicker Man, 1 person at the gates. Okay, who's going to go after the go through the gate?
All of us, I'll say.
Well, we got to hold
We need to
off
save the children first. Can we get some more children out?
You could put the children on the horses and go through because it's not going to be that easy to go through the gate with the horses. So you could put the kids on the horses and send them back.
How badly injured are they?
Well, there's 15 dead, and the other 5 are walking wounded, smoke inhalation, coughing.
We can put them on the horses and send them then.
Yes, they are the strongest of the group.
Actually, I think we've still got all 8 horses, haven't we, as well?
Oh yes, because you just rode. So you have 8. In fact, you have 8 horses, so you could send them back on different horses.
On 4
each. Yeah.
Let's keep 4 horses in here.
Okay.
Okay, let's do that and then run through, get them moving fast, and then tell them to get away from those frogmen, and then get through before they get here.
Okay, I'm going to say you are 1 round. By the time you've done that, you have 1 round left before the frogmen are on top of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're standing on the where's it gone? You're standing on the gateway.
Mm-hmm.
Where's it gone? There you go. So you're standing on the blue swirling gateway. At this point, this is where you're standing as the creatures are coming to your right.
Okay. Do I get a shot off at the?
Yes.
At them as they come.
You can have a shot because they are still heading towards the Wicker Man.
They've in my head they've got to go through the gate to get to the Wicker Man.
No. So you've got like a triangle. So you have. Where is it? So here's the gate. Yep. Here's the Wicker Man, and they're coming towards the Wicker Man.
Okay.
But you can still get a shot off.
Okay, I'll get a shot off at them. I get one extra dice for aiming around.
Yes, so you've got you aim for at least 2 rounds.
No, I was going to aim for 1 round, and then they were going to be close enough for me to shoot.
No problem.
Oh my life! 9 dice, and I rolled 4 successes.
Boom! You fire a gun off, and you can see the bullet zooming through the air, and it's just bounced off the hide of one of these creatures, who turns and looks at you and notices you, all of you.
How long does it take to reload this thing?
Take a round.
I'm going to reload.
Okay.
We got to get through.
Yep, I'm going to go through.
This is a round before you guys are ready to go.
Yes.
Okay.
So you've got a round to reload, and you can shoot at the final round.
Or just get off and dive through the gate.
Or just go off and dive through the gate.
Which I'll see. But I'm definitely reloading.
Okay.
And this thing's now coming for me.
Yes. In fact, well, they now that you've fired at them, they're all turning.
Oh.
Certainly, that first one is going to hop towards you.
Sorry, guys. I am getting off the horse instead of shooting at them. And then I am running for the gate with the others, I think.
Okay.
Makes sense, yeah, because we can't bring the horses through, you said, so we're all running.
No. So what you need to do is make a perception roll. Make a perception roll as each of you jump through the gate.
Perception, you say?
Yep. This is an average of 2.
1?
What's it?
I hate these dice.
Anyone that fails
1.
2.
Loses their... Okay, everyone gets higher than 2 is okay. Anyone gets less than 2 successes loses their lunch as they leap through the gate.
Best food I've eaten the whole time I've been in this damn country.
You find yourself in a sunlit
I don't remember eating carrots.
Sweet corn. Do you find yourself in a sunlit landscape on a stepped ziggurat with a gate behind you that has stopped spiraling. The landscape goes out ahead of you as far as the eye can see and starts to curve up like you're in some kind of bowl, a giant bowl. Heading up the ziggurat towards you is a gentleman wearing grey clothes, rather odd looking clothes that you haven't seen before.
Louis is turning and pointing the gun back through the gateway the way that we came.
Guillaume is turning and throwing up some more.
Beyond the gate is a... you see straight through this archway. It's no longer a gate, it's an archway.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other side of the ziggurat. You can no longer see the marshland.
One-way journey, gentlemen.
I'm just going to get the image. On the guy's arm, once this decides to... come on. Yep.
I just don't want those things the other side to make the one-way journey as well.
Okay. That's closed. You can't actually see beyond the archway. This grey guy, as he runs up, where's the mouse? As he runs up, and on his arm is this symbol. Just then, a large lizard-like thing jumps on his back and digs its teeth into his back of his neck. And as the remaining velociraptors charge up the ziggurat, I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah, bastard. Oh dear. Oh man.
Okay, I may be a little bit confused.
Okay, so the Ubiquity system is covers a number of different games. All for One is 17th century horror with the Musketeers. Leagues of Gothic Horror is Victorian era with spells and monsters. And then you have Leagues of Adventure, which is pulpy but steampunk era. Hollow Earth Expedition is the first adventure, and that is literally Nazis in the Hollow Earth in the pulp era. Then you have the new Leagues of Cthulhu, and there's a fantasy one and a modern day one. So some of the creatures, so you start off in All for One, Regime Diabolique. Some of the creatures you met come from the Gothic horror setting. Obviously, there were deep ones in the marsh. And then you walked into the back end of the scenario that's sitting in the Hollow Earth Expedition book. So Deirdre Rookwood, when the Nazis attempted to jump through the gate, she got sent back in time to the Musketeers era, and convinced my Lady de Winter that she could open up ancient Atlantis to produce lots of fantastic items for Cardinal Richelieu, but lied because she just wanted to go back to the 1930s. Does that help?
Yeah.
Perfect sense.
Yes. but what do we do next?
Oh, well, see, that would be episode 2, Musketeers at Earth's Core.
Excellent.
Would be Hollow Earth Expedition.
Hollow Earth Expedition.
As Musketeers.
As Musketeers.
Fantastic.
Which
much.
Which was quite funny because somebody just posted on the one of the forums a picture of Hollow Earth Expedition and a bunch of Musketeers as the image that he created, which was much funnier when I saw that. But yeah, so
yeah,
I hope I had the option of either sending you to Mars or to the Desolation setting. But Hollow Earth, I kind of because I like the idea that the Velociraptors charging up the ziggurat, and you're like, oh, they just killed the Nazi, as you've still got to capture Milady de Winter, who's now in a 1930s Hollow Earth, and somehow get her and go back 300 years.
That's
easy.
Yeah. So
and no longer in Spain. So we can unroll our tabards and be Musketeers again.
Ah.
Yes. Yes, you can. Which would be quite cool.
I'm going to head out. It's 1 a.m. here, so thank you very much again.
No problem. What I'll do is I'll find the image and I'll put it on that group chat because it's quite funny to see the Musketeers in Hollow Earth. So I'm just doing that. That's it. That's you guys.
Okay, very surprised expressions upon the faces.
Yes.
Well, I look forward to next time.
No problem. Well, I'm going to stop the broadcast.